Hello there, Pisces. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the month of February. We are going to start with February the 1st through the 14th, and then the second half of the video will be February 15th through the 28th. So this is a video that is about Pisces and about the energies that you're going to be interacting with during the month. For those of you who are here because you're cross-watchers and you're interested in finding out about your Pisces persons in your life, you are definitely welcome to be here, with the caveat that you understand that the energies on my channel are not reversible, which means that this reading is not going to be about you. It's going to be about Pisces and their life. If you want to find a reading that's actually about you, then you want to check your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, or whatever combination thereof works for you. I find that when I'm watching, my sun sign actually is also my Venus sign, so that usually tells me more about my personal life. And my rising sign talks to me about my business and money situations. So I think that it's good to experiment with all that stuff and see what actually works for you. Okay, let's start, Pisces, with your environment. Now, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So usually it's home, but not always. Let's see what we have. It does look like you are sharing your environment with somebody who has a lot of really great ideas, and they like to follow up on the new ideas. But it may be that once those new ideas are sort of regular, then this person may just get a little bit bored and sort of wander off and let other people continue on with what used to be new ideas. This is somebody who has a lot of energy, who likes to make people happy. And it looks to me like you guys are very successfully sharing your environment and very focused on each other in the environment. Very nice, very nice. Lots of energy and enthusiasm in that environment. We like that. Next thing that we are looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings, Pisces. There's something that has technically been finished off, put to bed, all the loose ends tied up, and is done. Well, in your subconscious, you're wondering, well, what would happen if that would come back up again? How would I actually handle that? I think you're thinking that if that would come back up again, it would take a lot of communication. And I think that you're kind of looking at this situation as if it would come back up again, there would be a whole lot of communication about what would work and what wouldn't work. But I think that you, even in your subconscious mind, know that ultimately you would end up cutting this situation off. So I think this is what's going through your subconscious. It's just this whole idea of what if that comes back up. I think you're stressing out a little bit because you know you would end up cutting it off eventually. But I think that that's an uncomfortable decision for you should that decision arise again. I don't feel like the decisions come up again. I think that this is really honestly stress over something that actually hasn't happened just yet, Pisces. I don't know if it will happen. That would be something for, a personal reading where we could look at your personal energies and see what's going on in your world. Anyway, for right now, though, let's focus on your learning style and your communication style. So, learning style, I think right now you're doing a lot of meditation, a lot of connecting with the divine for your learning. And I think that also for your learning, you're looking back at the past. You're looking back at things that your ancestors have done. Ancestors being grandparents, parents, those types of people. You're looking back at things that your ancestors have done and learning from some of the things that they've done in the past. So basically learning from their lessons. Communication style, what do we have here? I feel like there is somebody that you have sent out some kind of communication to, and I think you're waiting for communication back from them. Pisces, to me, this kind of feels like maybe you're trying to speak to somebody who has crossed over, and you're waiting to see what kind of message that you get back from them. So, really working on communicating with somebody who has passed. My apologies to you if you're that person or those people that this relates to and somebody has passed recently in your life. What else do we have? um, Spirit just told me as I was looking at a card that the boots on a person feature pretty majorly, or at least that's what my eye is picking up right now. And Spirit just said to me, "These boots are made for talking." Basically, I think some of your communication is going to have to do with where you are and where you're going and where you've been. There's going to be at least one person in your life that is gathering information about you just by where you are. I think you're sending a message, and I think you're very conscious that you're sending these messages. I don't feel like this is a super stalker type of situation. I feel like you guys are not real open with your communication with each other anyway, and so just going where you are, when you are, says a whole lot to the other person. I also feel like there is somebody in your sphere of influence that you just are not talking to, and I feel like you are very consciously refraining from talking to that person. I'm getting the sense that you're waiting. What are they waiting for? You're waiting to hear a certain thing from them. So, and that's going to be different for different ones of you. But I feel like some of you are waiting for an apology from this other person before you talk to them. And others of you are waiting for some type of go ahead, or you're waiting for some type of, you're waiting for them to come to you with some type of plan about something that they want to actually do with you. So it's interesting there. I think you're intentionally holding back. It's not like there aren't things that you want to say to them or that you see or participate in and you want to tell them about. It's just that you are consciously holding back because you are expecting something from them before you want to communicate with them again. All right, next thing that we have showing up, if I can pick up the cards, next thing that we're looking at has to do with work. Okay, so Pisces, I think like for a lot of people, I think that at least in the beginning of this time frame, work is not the most stable situation at this moment. I don't think that's a big surprise for anybody watching this video, to be honest with you. And it looks to me like um, this is something where you're feeling like, I think you're feeling a little bit out of control in this situation. I think that where your feelings are is that you're feeling a little bit helpless about this. And I think that as you're watching the time go by, as you're in this situation, the more you're feeling like you're more restricted and more limited instead of less restricted and less limited. Once we get to the end of this time frame, though, the good news is that we see that there's something going on that is helping you to actually feel better about this situation. So could this be some kind of stimulus check? Maybe. Could this be some kind of job offer for something you can do from home? Maybe. Could this be that, your business is being taken out of lockdown and you can come out and do work? Maybe if you have one of those businesses that's been vandalized recently, maybe that business is, up to snuff and, been repaired and had things, glass and stuff replaced, and now you can go back. But something is happening here towards the end of this time frame that allows you to find some healing whenever it comes to work. So for me, healing when it comes to work is if you need a new job, a new job. If you need to be able to get back to the old job, getting back to the old job. If you're starting something on the side and it was shaky, this is it coming into, you've got a nice contract with somebody, something like that. There's something good that's coming in that is helping you to get your equilibrium and come back whenever it comes to work. All right. So the next thing that we're going to look at talks to me, Pisces, about that part of your personality that's being grown or expanded as we go through this time frame. What do we have here? Okay, Pisces. I'm just feeling through these cards before I start talking. I'm feeling like you're looking at how you're impacting those people who are in your sphere of influence right now. And I think you're realizing that the influence that you're having is not the influence that is your goal or is your target to have on those people. And I think it's almost, I'm getting this sense of almost like going back to the drawing board. Like, things have changed enough in the world that for you to leave the type of legacy or to have the impact that you want to have on people in your sphere of influence, that you almost have to like rewrite the whole formula of how to make that happen. And I feel like you're realizing, wait, what was going on before was working. This is not working. And so, it is that energy of, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I don't think you're changing your goals. I don't think you're changing your targets. I do think you're going back to the drawing board as far as, how do I make the type of impact that I actually want to make? And then the last thing that comes up is, I think that you are learning some new skills, especially when it comes to communication as we go through this time frame. So, communication skills, you could be learning a new language. You could be learning how to use TikTok. You could be learning any one of social media platforms that are abounding right now. But there's definitely something that you're learning here about communication. Maybe you're just learning, how to communicate in a way that is pleasant to other people, or that that draws other people to you. There's communication that draws people to us, and there's also communication that more or less energetically pushes them away. So you may be learning about that, but you're learning something about communication here, and I think that is part of your plan about, how you're going to make the impact that you want to make on the people you want to make it. And so I think that's the first step in that you're coming up with as you go back to the drawing board on that. All right, let's look here. The next thing that we're looking at, Pisces, is talking to me about something that you stand for during this time frame. This is a position that's influenced by Mars, so you could stand for it pretty aggressively if the situation is in alignment with that. But it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But somebody has approached you about whatever this is, and somebody, whenever they approached you, they could just be looking for an explanation, okay? That one here is bothering me. They could just be looking for an explanation, or they could be actually confronting you about this situation. They could have some feelings around this situation. So you're explaining this, or you're standing up for this. So what we have showing up here, it looks like there was a situation where you and somebody else were not getting along at all, and you basically decided to just let it go. I don't think that you feel like you were wrong or they proved you right. I think you just decided you didn't want to have that disagreement or that argument anymore, and so you just let it go. I think that after you let it go is when the truth actually came out about the situation that the argument or the debate was about, and that's when things started going well for you, is after you let this go and then the truth came out. Now things are going well for you, and I can only assume that that's because whatever you were saying in this argument or debate, you were in the right to say that, but because somebody wasn't seeing that, you just decided that it was better to bring peace and let the truth come out when the truth would come out. So that's basically what's happened. The truth has come out, and now things are going well for you. You have respect of people around you, and things are just generally working out well for you at the moment. Now, how this other person feels after they've asked for this explanation or after they've confronted you, maybe they weren't too happy that you let this go when you were right all along. And so anyway, they're coming to you for some type of explanation or confronting you. They're feeling like where this was really sapping your energy whenever you were fighting it, that by letting this go, that allowed you to get some of your own energy back and to focus it where you wanted to focus it, not just on this silliness, this fight, this debate. And this allowed you to actually pay more attention even to your own finances, even to, what you're spending on things and how you're making your money and that type of stuff. And I think that, you letting this go, in the process of letting this whole fight or argument go, I think that you let go of somebody that you were collaborating with, as far as you're no longer collaborating with them. And I think that by no longer collaborating with them, this is what's allowed you to get some things paid off or caught up. I mean, financially, I see that you are doing better not collaborating with this person than you were when you were collaborating with this person. And that's what your other person is seeing after you've explained the situation to them, about how you just let it go and let the truth come out instead of continuing the fight. All right, so, and that's how things work out. If we can take on less stress and just let nature prove things, why wouldn't we? All right, so next we're going to look at your flex point, Pisces. So this is where you have something happen that actually changes your perception somewhat, which changes your trajectory. I've done more word mess ups in this video. I apologize, guys. I think Mercury is just started in shadow right now, so I don't know why I'm doing so much misspeak. Okay, so flex point, what's going on here? I feel like what I'm seeing here on the table is that you have somebody that is this them or is this somebody else? This is somebody else. Is this? What about this? Okay, so I feel like you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who, excuse me, is trying to influence you and trying to point you in a good direction. But I feel like I really don't want to say that on a video. They don't know what they're talking about. Let's say it that way. Let's keep it family related. Or family rated, I should say. So this person is trying to give you advice, trying to point you in the right direction, but they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't think that at first you realize that they don't know what they're talking about. And then you start seeing what happens when you follow their advice and things are not going well. And even as you're looking at just the very first fruits of following this person's advice, you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, wow, if this person really knows so much, they should not have directed me this way, because now that I know what I know after this little failure thing, it was common sense that was going to happen. So I think you're catching on pretty fast. I do think this is costly advice that you take from somebody, as far as I think it costs you a lot because it does not help you to win in any kind of situation whatsoever. But I think that the lesson learned there is that this person is not the expert that they let you believe that they are. Now, what else is going on at the same time? Oh, look at you. You're getting away from that person real fast. We definitely see you getting away from that person. And I think that you've got, we don't have a tower here, but you've definitely got a lot of energy as you're getting away from them. So they may be saying, oh, well, this was just a fluke, and, next time things will be much better, and blah, blah, blah. You're not hearing it. You're just not even hearing it. There's not, no. You're just breaking yourself completely loose from this person and from their influence. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you're taking them out of your life, although you could be, but I don't feel like all of you are. I feel like this person just really is kind of an ignoramus. And I think that you're just not, some of you are just not taking advice from them again. You're not totally getting rid of them. You're just not taking advice from them again. The rest of you, I think you are just totally we don't need to be talking anymore. Now, what else is going on here? Yep. So I think that what happens is you decide that, you could make these decisions better for yourself than this so-called expert. And so I think that you take some time to really figure out, okay, what is it that I'm trying to do? What are my priorities? I think you take the time to figure out what are your actual options, and then you take another run at whatever this thing is again that just was really a failure under the advice of the first person. I think you're taking another run at it again, only you're taking your own advice and not somebody else's advice on that. And I do believe that you're going to take some time to take another run at it and make sure that you've got your ducks in a row before you do. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, yep, if something's going to get done right, I have to do it. I understand that feeling. All right, so where do we see you at the end of the month? Well, I think that, first of all, I think you're incredibly busy at the end of the month, and it would be a great idea for you to find somebody that you could delegate some of your responsibilities to who could handle it. Otherwise, some things are going to be falling through the cracks. Because right now, I'm looking at the energy, we have things falling through the cracks. And part of the reason that you've got things falling through the cracks is because you're dealing with somebody in your sphere of influence who is really moody and who is changing the target for you about what you're trying to do to make this person happy. And so I do think that this is something that it kind of goes from, oh, really, really frustrating to here is the pimple pops and everything, something falls through the cracks, and then there's some adjustment that comes along. And when that adjustment comes along, then that's when we see you starting to rebuild, and that's when things start to get better. I apologize for that wind tunnel-ish noise. That's the furnace kicking on. I'm going to get out of here, take a little break, and when I come back, we'll look at the last part of February for you, Pisces. Thank you for being here. Okay, Pisces, we're back again, and this time we're going to look at February the 15th through the 28th. See what shows up for you in the energy. Whoop, whoop. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate it. Thank you, of course, while I'm shuffling. Thank you for all the thumbs ups and sharing on this video. And thank you to those of you who are ordering readings from me and Reiki sessions from me and Reiki candles from me. It is because of all your support, all the way up from watching the videos, all the way through to buying some of the private services, that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much. Almost have your cards down, and cards are down. All right, let's see what you have coming up for your environment here, Pisces. What do we see? What do we see? So Pisces, whenever I look at your environment, I've got something kind of interesting showing up here. It looks to me like you have a situation. You have a situation where you have an abundance going on, but you have friends coming in. I feel like they're coming in and they're stealing that from you in your environment. So I don't know if this is somebody plugging into your cable box or what exactly this is, how this is manifesting, but I feel like you are very aware of the situation, and I feel like you actually cut this off very early in this time frame. I think as soon as you find out about it, you make sure that that is not going to keep continuing onward. Okay? The next thing that I have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings. So it looks to me like what's on your mind is this idea of working together with somebody, but it's somebody that things haven't worked out very well between you and this person before in the past. And so I think there's a little bit of a question in your mind about whether you guys will be able to collaborate together in the future. And it may be that you've already even started this collaboration and you're just questioning, how much further can I go with this? So I'm not sure if you've started this collaboration or not, or if this is just something that you're thinking about and you're just wondering, how is this supposed to work? It didn't work before. All right. Next thing that we have coming up for you, Pisces, talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. I feel like you're being fascinated or drawn into some type of crafty, artsy. I don't know if it's beading, if it's working with ribbons and fabric, sewing. I don't know what it is. Sculptures, but it seems to be something that, is working with your hands that allows you to make things of beauty that, to me, it's coming across as they can be worn on the body or they can be hung on walls. And, it's not going to be both of those things, but it's going to be one or the other of those things for different ones of you. Okay? What else do we have about learning style here? I think you're doing some learning that I think actually you're having an eye-opening experience that sort of puts in your face your place in the universe. And it comes across to me that you've kind of denied your place in the universe. You've denied your own importance for a while now. And I think that this is going to force you to rethink that denial of your own importance. La da 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 da. And I think you are doing some self-directed research. You're kind of getting off by yourself and learning some things on your own. So this could be that, you're Googling some information or studying some information in a paper kind of way. But either way, I don't feel like this is a part of a classroom type of thing. I don't feel like this is at the direction of a mentor. I feel like this is just you sort of stepping off by yourself to do this. Now, looking at communication style during the same particular time frame, it looks to me, the strongest thing that's coming across to me right now, Pisces, is that you have certain patterns of communication. And I think that you're going to be following those certain patterns. So when I say that, like, what are patterns of communication? So, maybe you get up in the morning and on the way to work, you're looking at Facebook. That might be a pattern of communication. If you always call your parents or your siblings on Sunday every week or something along those lines, that would be a pattern of communication. It's something that you repeat. You do over and over at a particular time. So that's the first thing that's coming across to me, is that there are patterns of communication. I feel like also there's going to be some kind of significant communication that has to do with music or musicals. So maybe you're sending a song or dedicating a song to somebody that means something from you to them. Maybe you're actually doing some singing during this time frame. And I do feel like there's also a lot of communication that comes up at night for you. So a lot of evening communication, maybe into the wee hours of the morning as well, Pisces. All right, so the next thing that we have coming up talks to me about work during this time frame. What do we have? So work is interesting. I'm not too thrilled about what I'm seeing about work, and it's kind of similar to, part of it is similar to what I saw before. There is somebody in your environment in work who is always sort of changing the goal, changing the target. This is what it takes to make me happy today. 20 minutes later, it takes something else to make me happy. This could be a boss, a supervisor, an owner, a founder, a client, somebody like that. And I think that it's gotten to the point that there's arguments about what does it take to actually get the job done in an appropriate way at this point. And it feels to me like this is a situation that is just sort of sucking you in, and it's sucking your energy out of you. It's something that's really dragging you down. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry about that interruption there, Pisces. The next thing that we are going to look at is that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. And so let's see, what do we have coming up here? It looks like you have a situation, and this is kind of a repeat of a cycle that we saw earlier. I can't remember which part we were seeing this in. But we have a situation where there are things, you've got a lot on your plate, and there are things that are falling through the cracks as you're trying to deal with everything that's on your plate. And that's a problem. That's a problem because you're losing out on material goods or on finances because you're not able to keep up with everything that you've got going on. However, what we see is that this causes a rebirth. This causes you to rethink how you're doing things and reprioritize and figure out, okay, you know what, how do I make sure this doesn't happen again? So it's a learning experience that we're seeing here. Interesting. Now the next thing that we have coming up talks to me about those things that you stand for, and then we're going to look at how somebody feels about you after you have talked about whatever this is that you stand for. So looking at those things that you stand for, all right, so it looks like there's been a lot of change in your life. And so you've been putting yourself in situations where you actually, you have competition and you're competing against other people. And I think that the impression that I'm getting is that for most of you, this is work. This won't be work for all of you, but the impression that I'm getting is for most of you, this is work. And I think that this competition that you have allowed yourself to participate in, whether it's a formal competition or whether it's, just competition for the clients or whatever, has actually put you into a situation where things are easing up in your finances and in your material goods. We like to see that. And the thing is here, you want to be real careful because it looks like what you're standing for is this idea of, well, now I can slack a little bit. Now that things are a little easier, I can slack a little bit. And this is what you're explaining to somebody. You're explaining to somebody, I got out there. I started competing. I started putting myself up against these other people. And, that eased things up for me. That made the budget better. And so now I'm slacking. I'm relaxing a little bit. That's what we see here. Now, how the other person sees you after you've, explained this or defended this, they see you as somebody who has taken the time to figure out priorities and figure out what needs to be done. And I think they feel like you've gotten part of that in a good place, but they feel like you're not using real good judgment right now. And the reason they feel like you're not using real good judgment, Pisces, may be because either you have some type of addiction that they feel like is altering your judgment and making it not as good as it could be, or you're interacting with somebody who has an addiction and just in the process of interacting with that person, they feel like your judgment has been skewed. But there's something going on there with somebody who has an addiction, and that addiction is impacting how you think about things and sort of it's changing your perspective. At least this person thinks that it's changing your perspective on how to handle things. Okay? Now, let's look next at your flex point. This is where your perspective actually changes, and so your trajectory sort of changes. Okay, so it looks like you're coming into a situation with somebody else who is highly sensitive, somebody who could be very empathic, somebody who's encouraging and nurturing. You're coming into a situation with somebody where there's an equal give and take is what I meant to say. Wow, if shadow period is kicking my butt this hard, I can't wait to see what Mercury retrograde is going to do full on. Let's see. So anyway, you have an equal give and take with this person who can be very nurturing and very encouraging. And this is actually something that is helping you to heal up from something that's happened in the past. Now, this could be a counselor. This could be that equal give and take. Could be that you're paying somebody for their services. Or it could be that, you're bartering back and forth. What else do we have here at the same time? That you're doing some healing through this interaction with this other person. You actually have a choice to make, and that choice has to do with this idea of working on home or possibly working on relationships with family or taking some time off from working on that and just resting and rejuvenating yourself. So you have a choice to make there. I'm not sure that y'all are going to make the same choice there, but it comes up. And I think that either way you go, there's benefits with that choice. If you want to know specifically for you what would be the best choice, of course, that's a great thing to get a reading on so that we can look at your personal energy to see something like that. But for right now, let's look at what else is happening at the same time. I think, so even though we're getting healing here, I think that you're not feeling very energetic or enthusiastic about working on anything that really has to do with home and family. I think that you are more interested in thinking about and brainstorming all the different ways that you could do things that would improve your life. So to me, this basically says that you've taken some time to take some downtime and step back and really think about things and think about what are your options here to make things better in your world. What are your options to make things better in your life? And so that's what I'm seeing there, because it looks to me like you're not really feeling like you have the energy to deal with home and family right now. It almost looks to me like you sort of, if you're going to deal with home or family in a productive way and have the energy to do that, you almost have to step back and regroup first, replenish yourself first. Okay, then let's look at where we see you at the end of this particular time frame, Pisces. I feel like you're getting a lot of dreams during this time frame, dreams that help you sort out some of the things that are going on in your life. And there's also a situation coming up where somebody's showing you their true colors, and when they do, you're realizing that you don't really think as much of them as you used to. Some of that respect level is gone whenever they show you their true colors. And I think that comes up as a surprise to you. However, I see you bringing balance into your life. I don't see you letting this throw you off. You may not even be keeping this person in your life that, like, your opinion of them may have fallen from such a height way down that you may be realizing that this person isn't healthy to have in your life, and you may be letting them go. Or you may be making some type of decision about how you want to handle this person or this particular situation so that it comes to a healthy resolution, because it is coming to a healthy resolution one way or another. And it is coming to that because of a decision that you are making and enforcing. Okay? I know you guys don't like confrontation, but this still shows that you're the one making this decision and enforcing it, Pisces. Okay? So thank you to all of you for being here and for all of your support once again. I appreciate it so much. If I don't see you here for a private session, either Reiki or reading between now and then I will see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.